So this event starts in Coquitlam. It's on October, and in grade 11, I was 16 years old, and so that's in the year 1993. Don't know if anybody even knows Coquitlam, so I just wanted to give a little bit of understanding. Of course, if anybody understands Vancouver, that's great. This is Mundy Park over in Coquitlam, and Mundy Park is this shadowy side figure of my story for the first two contact events. This is Mundy Park, and my house was actually right up against the park. It was actually right there on Lost Lake. And this is Charles Best, my junior high school, and this was my high school. So this was my hood, and I had a lot of friends over on this side of the park, and I would live over here. And one night, hanging out with my friends, we went to a movie. I left them on this side of the park, and I had to make my way across to the other side of the park. Later in my teenage years, I'm way more comfortable actually just going directly through the park in the middle of the night, but at the time I wasn't. So I had to go along this route here. And it gets really dark there's no streetlights. I think there's 1 or 2 streetlights. And I would take the side roads. I'd been jumped on the streets when I was 16, so I was really weary about being on the main roads. So this is Dr. Charles Best, that little school right there that I showed you. My house was over here. So this is, as you can see, there was some lights here, but it wasn't really that many lights lighting up the school. This was just a baseball field, an empty field, and this was an empty field. Now it's all built up, but at the time they were just junior high school fields. They were very run down, and this was a baseball field, and this was a soccer field. And my line of path, this building wasn't here, so I came around back, staying away from the road, and I preferred actually the dark. But the funny part is, it clearly is that's where they preferred too. So I actually got a picture of it, and this is, the fence wasn't here. I would just walk into the middle of the field. Okay, so let me get prepped. So it's dark because it was dark for me at that time, and I want to provide the feeling of what happened to me. So what happens? Basically walking out into the field, and it's 3 things that happen in one shot. This thing falls from the sky and literally lands on its 2 feet, about 6 feet from me. And I panic and try to run, and it freezes me. But it all happens in a split 2 seconds. Falls, run, freeze. And I'm like, and I'm caught. And the terror of this, you don't even know what's going on. But at the same time, what's happening is they open the memories. So the childhood memories were there, accessible, but all I knew was I was terrified. And I also knew, because of the lingering effect of the last time I was with them, I just didn't want this. So I knew I was terrified. I wanted to get away. And the first thing it does is it says, you won't be able to, so I'm trying to get out. And it says, you won't be able to move no matter how hard you try. And it's emoting, it's words, but it's like an emotion. It's pointed at you. It's not clear words. It's a force, and a telepathic force. And at the same time, all you know is you're feeling this thing from it. And it says and it's basically like, you can't get out of that, so you better stop doing that. And I try harder, trying even harder to get out. I'm panicking, I'm terrorized. And it says, it's okay, we're not going to harm you, we're friendly. It tries to calm me down. And I actually stop fighting, and I muster up the strength to look at it. And it's in the dark. I can see enough. There was low-lying clouds. I could make out that this thing was about 4 feet tall, and it's like, we are blazoned with our own facial features, the way our face looks, our eyes, and all the proportions. And even though you might see an alien picture, nothing hits you for it, because it is disturbing. Their face is disturbing. And as a 16-year-old, I was disturbed by what the hell I was looking at. I just thought, this thing is goddamn disturbing. Its eyes are massive, its nose is tiny, its mouth is tiny, its shape and everything. I was disturbed. And so I wasn't responding, and I wasn't moving, and I was terrified for my life. And so it says, come with us to our ship. And then it's giving me a moment to kind of collect myself. And it's almost like, wait, isn't this thing familiar? Like, wait, what's going on? And I'm kind of putting it together, and it tries one more time. Come with us to our ship. We'll bring you right back. And in this time it's giving me, so I've covered this one up here, but it says here, it doesn't say, she doesn't say you know us from before, but the memory of being on that ship from my childhood came in my head. Either she put it in my head or it came up naturally, but it was a sense of like, listen, we're not scared. We won't harm you. We've shown you we're safe before. So that little piece, I made a connection while I was on the field there. And then I looked into her eyes, and there was something that happened with her eyes. I basically just went, oh, this is interesting. Like, okay, wait a minute, this might be interesting. And I just decided it was the smart thing to do was to trust this. So I said, okay. And then I'm going to put you back down here again. There was a flash of light. I was lifted up, and I guess the idea was the clouds were really low lying, because what appeared to be in the clouds was a massive ship. And I now understand it to be a V-shaped winged craft, and it probably was the size of this goddamn field. It was so massive, and it was hiding in the low-lying clouds. And I made the connection. Like, I didn't know she came from this. I didn't know that. I didn't hear it. I didn't see it. So this idea that this thing just fell, and like I had no idea what had happened and where this had come from. And the moisture, like the hits in my brain, the moisture of the cloud air in my on me as I'm underneath the craft, and the black of the craft, and the these amber lights, these amber lamp looking lights. Then I'm inside. I'm inside a weird space. I'm not an artist, so I apologize. This is my on top picture. This is my looking like a map, like you would see on a map. This is the on top picture. I don't have any way of doing 3D. I'm not that good. What you're looking at, this is, I kind of like transported or materialized or something. I came out of this little dot. There were two circles on the ground, and these were, I guess it was like a hanger. These were like metallic pods. They were probably roughly 8 feet long metallic pods. I angled this wrong. They would have been angled that way. The picture's not great. Sorry, again, I'm not an artist. This curved a little bit differently, but I did my best to try and get it. And the being that I presumed at the time was the being that landed on the ground, was down there, was there looking at me. And then 4 other beings were there with me, or with her, I guess. And so there were 5 altogether. She was taller. She was about 4 feet tall. And then there was like these 4 3-foot tall beings. And I worked my butt off trying to get what she looked like. The one that was taller is the one that will interact with me for the rest of all these contact events. Mainly, there's some things that change up, but she's the go-to being, and they call her handler for me. So I guess she's the one to interact with me the most. And I tried to draw her. So again, I need an artist. I need a sketch artist to do this, but I got these eyes were represented her, like the softness. Her face was compact like that, but she had these cheekbones. So this is the best one here that represents her. And she had a cone head. She had a cone going back. And she was 4 feet tall. And so she had a really strange, weird, but cheekbone-like face. And so I'll use this image. But I had them all because I thought she's some kind of a mixture of all those 3. So for her, I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but for her, she's like, hi, Jeff, welcome. Thanks for coming with us. You won't regret it. We've come here to help you with this time. So she's emoting, and for her, she tells me my name. So she's impressioning that we know you. Thanks for coming. Like, that's great. And then you won't regret it, because she talks about you won't regret it later on. It's really strange. And then for them, they're here to help me. So it's like, it's a weird sensation. Like, they're here for me. It's a strange idea. She turns around, she says, come with us. So I walk, and this is a hallway, and that's when I kind of was able to observe those little crafts. I'm like, what the hell? But I'm not comfortable. And she walked, and I'm actually very conscious. I'm walking deeper and deeper into this, like, what the hellness of this experience. I'm like, why, what the hell? I'm not comfortable. I'm not liking this. So we go into this room here. we move into and this is a room, and we came in. There were 2 desks. They were molded to the ground. It was a weird, like, curved desk with a flat top. There was actually a little office chair. There was a black screen on the back, and a computer console right over here. And she just points, like, go there, like, just points to the computer console. So she's really interested in showing me something. I'm really confused. What the hell is going on? And I'm not certain that I like this, but she's really interested in showing me. She basically touches this computer panel, and these holograms come up. And there's a blue, like, rectangular cuboid. I think they're called cuboids, rectangular, blue and red, and this white comet. Anyway, whatever. These things didn't mean anything to me. And then she says, let me sort of move this back here. Sorry. This is the reason why so she says, this is the reason why you are here. This is what we are here to help you with. This is your future outline of things to come. So me, I'm like, okay, I'm done. First off, I hated the way they were communicating with me. I didn't like this, like, in your head. I was so uncomfortable by it. They are freaky looking. They almost boxed me in the room too. The 4 beings came with us, and they were behind us, and it was just me and her. And I was like, I don't like this. And I started to panic, basically. It's like, hey, this is enough. I need to get out of here. And I think I'm certain I verbalized, I want to go. I want to go. And so she's like, whoa, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So she tries to bring me into her eyes. And it's this, for me, it's the distinguishing feature of my communication with them is this, no, it's okay. It's okay. We won't harm you. And so she wants me to be drawn into her eyes. We won't harm you. There's nothing to be scared of. I assure you we are friendly. And when I connect with her eyes, I actually make the connection that, okay, I can connect with the thing underneath this crazy face. And it kind of does seem like a personality, like a person. I can maybe, like, connect with that thing. So I was like, okay, what is this? What's going on? What are you showing me? So for her, she just busts right out into it. Right? I joked with Mimi, they're like, these guys don't warm you up. They don't give you coffee. They don't, like, say, hey, we need to talk to you about some things. For them, it's business. And also, they're often feeling like they're on, like, a tight schedule. So they just, like, cut to the chase, and it's, like, really confusing for you. So she says, it is your destiny to leave the place you're growing up in, and a future life will occur somewhere else. These are your time periods that we would like to work with you in. We are interested in here, here, and here. So she points to that, and that. And she points to the first 3 of the holographic images. So she points to the blue one, and she describes it. This is where we help you. She points to the red one, and she says, then we will help you leave your home. Like, what? Then we'll help you leave your home, and we would like to watch you as you grow. You will be free from your societal ideas to create what we provide for you. So they had an outline and a plan in place. So for me, these images, they had no meaning, and they were just symbols of time periods of my future, but I didn't really understand it. And something in my timeline seemed important, but really I was like, what? So she's like, this is your destiny that we'll help make happen together. While we help you, you will help us by allowing us to watch you as you grow. She's like, what else? What else would you like to know? So I'm like, you'll make me leave? Like, I'm growing up in Coquitlam. I'm 16. I prefer to think that I'm staying. The idea that I was leaving, these things are just, like, off my head. But for her, this was important. So she says, I'm questioning you. How you make me leave? So for her, she says, you will discover your soul, which will propel you to leave. We will help you create an identity that you will use to do this. Why me? Like, why are you interacting with me? What the hell is this all about? We find this to be an opportunity to grow one of our own. And then she dumps that memory, that childhood memory, where I was behind my friend's house when I was a child, a 5, and I see my mom on that bed and the needle going in. And that's when it was like, oh, but her doing that, put the memory in, also made me realize, like, right, they were in my childhood. It was like clogs were, like, moving. It was like, oh my God, these guys were actually in my childhood. And that's when it was all kind of coming together. Like, what? So as I calmed down, I began to realize the extent that they were hiding in the background of my childhood. And that's why I kind of felt that there was some kind of familiarity with this being. So she says, we want to help one of our own. We have been watching you, and we like you. Your personality and characteristics match what we are looking for with what we want to accomplish. So This line for me is way more deeper and bigger than I can put together in a sentence. It seems like it really was communicated this straightforward, but I'm aware of some strange things. This rising thing that happened in December of 1997 happened because there was some part of my personality that made it happen. And I understand in me that they were talking about that part of me. I didn't have ADD. I don't like to label myself that way. I had a learning disability. I was a strange kid. I had weird compulsions, and I was aware of that weird energy. I was aware I had an extra part of my psyche, and when I learned to direct it as a teenager, I got good at things, and I realized I was a really good musician right away. Picked up the bass when I was 16, and this energy, this part of me, I was always aware of. I now look back and understand it created the rising that occurred in 1997. And I make connections in my head that I'm convinced that this extra part of me that I grew up with, that I knew about, that seemed like a weird ADD kind of thing, was their part of me. My mind began to race with telling people. And then so she responds to my thoughts. So I'm caught off guard that she catches my thinking. And she says, if you agree to work together, you won't remember our experiences. You will only remember these events when we meet with you. It will be in secret, and this will benefit both of us. Do you agree to work together? So she's recognizing I'm kind of being sold on this. So this is my spiel about why how I convinced myself to actually work alongside these beings. And there is another. You'll see that there's more to this than this simple exchange. But she really wanted me to agree. It was the most critical understanding that this was not something they were doing to me. They wanted me to say yes. So if I ever didn't like it, they always would say, but you agreed. So in essence, these beings saw an opportunity for an exchange. They would help me with the transition they saw in my future if I agreed to be part of an experiment where they helped me discover my soul. And then they would use that process to study and analyze me. I had no comprehension of what they were truly asking of me. But the fact was I could now see childhood memories of these beings, and in them I was never hurt. I felt special that they had been in my life without my knowing. I rationalized that they were in charge anyway. It's like, I can't control this. They were here, but they're not bad. They're not harmful the way they had been hiding in my life. I was aware right away that this was beyond my parents or getting permission. Getting permission from someone. It seemed so vague, and I was already a part of it without even knowing it. I was on edge from the strangeness, but I wanted to see where it went. I was sold. I was like, there's something in me. I got it. There was something in me. There was something that they liked. And I was curious. I actually, if I could bring down the fear, I was actually highly fascinated by what the hell was going on. Okay, I want to work with you. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. So then she gives me orders. Our exchange won't be for nothing. What we will give you, we will provide you now. Then we will slowly open you to it over time. We have been working on this plan for some time now, and we know you won't regret it. Our work with you will benefit our understanding of humankind. And then I ask, is there anything I should do? Keep your heart and mind, she literally says, keep your heart and mind open to learn new things. Can you tell me who you are? All she does is she tells me we are humanity's agents of change. When she said that, she pulled, there was an image on that hologram of a cog, of a giant cog. And I knew it meant era, or like a time or an era was coming. I had no knowledge of the Mayan calendar at the time, and I didn't actually see Mayan imagery either. But I found it a strange connection presently that there is a Mayan calendar that actually measures eras, that measures long periods of time. And I now know it's 7,000 something, 300 years, but it measures actually eras of time. And so that's what she pulled up. And I thought that was a really strange thing. You'll play a part in helping us understand humans as they move into an evolution of the soul. You will also benefit by evolving your soul, and your evolution will also take place. So they were wanting to study, but they were also like, yeah, you're going to benefit from this also. You will also evolve by working with us and doing this with us. And then she threw at me an image of, like in my head, of the planet Earth with ape and human. And I understood it to summarize that in this era, the massive scale of evolution that was about to occur is the scale of ape to human, the way the extreme biology of an ape to a human, the extreme evolution that is going to occur will be something an ape could never perceive that it would become a human. And likewise, what's about to happen, or this evolution that they are saying is about to happen, is something that is so massive in scale that its equivalency is ape to human. We are birthing a new idea, a concept never before spoken of. So they emphasize that what was happening with me was unique. Now I do learn they did this with other humans, but for them, this was an important experiment. So we are birthing a new idea, a concept never before spoken of between our species and yours. No one will know about this, and it will be only effective when it's blocked from your mind. So we will be blocking it, and we want you to help us with that. We want you to never look at this. If you have any questions about it, turn your mind away from it. Take care of it. We must protect it for it to work properly. Now, what's so interesting about this for me is when she said this, we locked eyes, and it was this deep, kind of hypnotic request to make sure I never looked at it. I have no periods of I have no missing time I'm aware of in this period. And I try to understand this for myself, because clearly I would have actually had even this whole event alone without missing time. But what she's saying is that don't look, like a subconscious thing. If anything that would make you trigger to think about this, we want you to look away from it. And there are some strange contact events, these first 7, where I do actually, like, what the hell happened to the last portion of my hike? And I'm questioning, and then my mind like goes off of it, doesn't look into it. So she gave a subconscious command to not look into this, which I thought was really, which answers for me why the hell I had no knowledge of it for 20 years of my life. We move. She takes me from that room. So this was a medical space. And, I just really only got to know this being. Also, I was still like weary. I wasn't fully committed. I was like, okay, I hope this was the right thing to do, because I'm actually kind of like nervous about this. I'm going into this room, and there's 2 tall medical beings in this room. And she tells me to take my clothes off down to my underwear. And she says, recline on the chair. And this is a reclining chair. It wasn't a flat table. It was a recline, like a dentist, and it had arms that came out. And when I sat on it, I basically could sit upwards, and the ceiling was light. It was all light. It was all like one material. It wasn't like a light bulbs. It was like a material that glowed. And it was, I talk about this later in some of the writings, but the craft feels alive. The craft is alive. I think this is something quantum, but it's alive. The craft feels life, like it has its own life. It's organic or has some kind of own life. And I was observing that as I was sitting back. Then the medical being brings over something to my shin, and it causes instant pain. And I literally panic. I jump up, and as I get up to look, I see a portion of my shin taken out, or at the time I think my shin has been removed. And I now think that they had phased something or something, and they saw through it. But I went to complete hysteria. The other medical being pins me, and I am flattened, and I'm bawling. I'm bawling, and I'm crying, and I'm saying, "You're hurting me! You're hurting me!" And the being who I got to know sits in the doorway and says, "It's okay. You'll be all right. It's okay. You'll be all right. It's okay. You'll be all right." So she's trying to comfort me, and it stings, and it hurt, and I fully thought I thought I was like being taken for parts. I thought I got duped. I thought this was it. And my flashes of my girlfriend and my mom were in my head as I had thought this was the end of my life and I was going to die on an alien spacecraft. But I guess she must have been calming me, because I was in the state of hysteria, but I was like calming down, but still crying. I didn't want it. And I was like, "You're hurting me, you're hurting me." And they put something in my left shin that had goop to it. They put something into my ear, and then they put something in my nose. And the thing that went in my nose, I could feel that they could control it. It was this wiry thing that they could control. And when I was done, my entire body stung. It was like the entire thing had gotten stung by a bee. And I was pissed. I was angry, and I got up. They were like, "Okay, done." And then I'm like, "You hurt me," and I was talking to the being, the female being, and I was like, "You hurt me," and she's like, "Where?" So she's all so motherly. "Where does it hurt?" And so she's like, "Where does it hurt?" I'm like, "They're on the shin," and I point at my shin, and my shin's like perfect. I have no scars. Like they were on me. They're doing things. There's no scars. There's no effects, and I also could like move everything, and I had nothing wrong with me. And she's like, she looks at the shin, and she looks at me, and she's like, "It'll be all right. It's okay. It'll be all right." So then I was like, oh, I was like thrown off by that. I was like, I'm fine. Everything feels fine. I feel fine. Nothing feels wrong. I had the stingy feeling, but I was like, I was upset by it. But then she's like, "Okay, come." So then we keep going, and so I was like, I was in my underwear walking down this hallway, and we get to this door here, and I'm like, "What is this?" She wants me to go in the door. I'm like, "What is this?" She says, "You'll see, you'll be all right." And I'm like, "I don't want to go in." Like, I don't like the last, like, these guys really don't, I guess it's the way they communicate, but like, they didn't give me any outlines. They gave me no plans. They didn't say you're going to do this or hurt or this. They just need to get things done, and they get it done, and you're kind of just part of it. And so I didn't want to go in. I was like, I don't want to go in there. Like, I didn't like the last surprise. So I was like, I don't want to go in. So she connects eyes with me again. And she's like, and I can feel she's anticipating. She's excited for me to go into this room. So she says, "Oh, no, I'll come with you. It's okay. We'll all go together. I'll come with you. We'll go in together, and I'll go first." Right? So I'm like, okay. And I want you to know, this is the part of the experience that most people would say, you think, no way, this didn't happen, it's all in your head or something, right? And I have corroboration of other people who've had the exact same experience in the same room. They've been to the same place, and they've had the same type of experience there. So I'll show you that. So I want you to know that before we go into this space here.